high countertops or higher quality laminate. I think we've done granite on like the last 20 houses, with the exception of one. I didn't even know. I thought we did granite on that one. Oh, we did. We saw that one. So we're almost doing granite every single time. Because when you start, the cost of laminate's gone up, and then they gotta make it. Because we don't go with like buy the slab and try to fit it ourselves. That's for amateurs. You want a kitchen company like Paul come in and measure for the laminate so it all fits right and you have less seams. Sorry, Paul, but we're not doing much laminate anymore with you days. Why?
And nor should you.
Why? Right? Why? Because why?
Hungry granite guys.
Granite guys. So we now have 2 companies that we pay for our granite to come in template, measure it. We have like 10 different, well, I think 5. Your guy was 5 or 6, but we had like 7 or 8 or 8. Whatever. We have 5 to 10 choices of granite. Not like this is the only color you can use, right? So does anybody want to guess what we're paying for granite in our kitchens?
30 square.
No, not that cheap. I might have to talk to you. But let's say an average kitchen, people think $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for granite, because that sounds about what granite costs, right? So I think we're under $2,000 on every kitchen we're doing for granite, Bill?
Yeah.
So if it's going to cost us $1,000, $8,000, $9,000, it was getting that kind of that point. So the reason why we spend a little more money to granite is granite sell. Who's a realtor here? Raise your hand, realtors. Does granite help sell houses?
Stainless steel.
Granite and stainless steel. So now we start putting granite in, but I'm not paying $60, $70 a square foot anymore. We're paying between $35 and $40 a square foot installed.
With a sink.
With a sink. Deep bowl, brushed nickel sink. So now we drove our cost of granite down because there's labor involved in making formica, and in the smaller the kitchen, the less of a difference it is. So formica is going to cost $7 or $8, granite's going to be $1,200. It's a no-brainer to go with granite.
Lowe's did a lot to drive the granite cost down too, because they came out with that thin.
Don't do it.
No.
Yeah. Don't.
But they drove down.
I know they did. Yeah. They do offer an alternative granite that's half the thickness of regular granite, and it's like 20. You can probably get it for $25, $30. I won't do it. To me, that's just crap. I won't do it. All right. So the numbers. Everybody wants to know the numbers. I know, right? That's the most exciting part of this business. So how much money are we going to make? So this is where this should have come out one slide at a time. I screwed up. So $65,000 purchase price. You guys heard me. $73,060 improvement costs. So I don't know if you guys saw what we did. Basically, completely rebuild that entire house, including engineering and a new septic system. $73,000. At first we thought on this one we might get away with around 60, but then we ran into some things. That's why we have to buy it. But we still hit our formula. I'll show you in a minute. $21,621 in closing costs, commissions, and interest. This is where so many people don't realize how much this part of it costs. That's a lot of money. It's not just your renovation cost. It's your clothes. It's all that other stuff. The damn realtors want to make up so much money.
You don't pay me enough.
I know. So $21,621 in closing costs, right? Typically, we're projecting, and you have to do your own projection to figure out your cost of money and all this other thing. But we're pretty good now at projecting our closing costs, including interest, including the cost on money, right? At about 10% of what we're selling our properties for. So if we're selling a house for $200,000, 10% of that's around 20 grand. So we're like, this one was like 2.25%. How do I know? Because my P&L came across my desk today and I got to see exactly where that was. So we're seeing a nice pattern. If that number starts going up, and I talked to Bill, and we start looking at our office and we start adjusting numbers. But that's a good number. If you can control your holding cost to 10%, that's still a big number. So that could be 12 to 15 for other people. But we're at 10 right now. So, no, actually I put this note here because actually our closing costs were less. I'm glad I put that note in there. In this closing cost included, we, the seller, provided $4,025 to the buyer for closing costs. That's typical sometimes, right? So we sold it over asking, and I think you were at why you sold it over asking. The pilot was giving the money back too, right? So we still did very well, but technically this isn't really a closing cost. That price really could have been, we could have reduced our sell price, so that would have came out of there. It's just like changing the numbers different, the net result would have been the same. But I want to point these out because it's important. So it's just because it's the way we enter it on our books, and we enter all our line items on our HUDs. So that was on the HUD, so it got entered as part of the soft cost and the way I get my reporting. So I need to know those little details, like if there's a wholesale fee in there, that's gonna drive up that closing cost, but that's not really part of the closing cost, that's an acquisition cost or a wholesale fee. So if I take that 4,000 off of there, so we're at $17,621, so that's even less than 10%. So we did really good. Why? Because we sold it in 87 days. See what happens, I dropped that below 10%, because we turned it quicker. So I was really happy with that. So we sold the price, so here's my point, 198.5. So if I took it out of here, really we could say, don't put it there. We sold it really for 194.5. That's all, I just wanted you guys to understand that. So in the end, unless any bills come trickling in after, that's the other thing we deal with, is try to close out our numbers and try to get our contracts, not these guys are good, but we've had some experience where, oh geez, we have $900 in excess from the house we did 3 months ago. Oh my goodness, really? So, but that was our net profit. Does anybody think that's a good net profit? Honest. Right? It's not like, we didn't make 100 grand, I'm not gonna brag we made 100 grand on that one, but for a house that sold for technically $194,000, that's a damn good profit. That's 20% of ARV. If you're hitting 20, any house, if you can say any house you sell, let's just use, say it's $200,000. What's 20% of $200,000? $40,000, right? So if you can sell a $200,000 house and make $40,000, you should be very proud of yourself. This business it can be tough, right, Bob? You know the bottom line numbers. If you can sell a $194,000 house and make $38,000, and listen, we just sold a 320. I don't even know. 300. What do we sell Hanover for?
393.5.
390. I'm sorry, way off. 393.5. And we did good. We made a lot more than that, but we didn't make 78,000. See, 20% of 398 is 78,000. But we knew that going in. Our deal flow was a little low. We brought up a wholesale. We had to pay him $10,000, and we paid a little bit more than where our numbers wanted to be. But heck, we made $56,000 on that one. Not bad at all. But we sold the house at twice as much as this one. So relative. Sometimes you could go for something that's a higher ticket. You might not hit the percentage, but how much money you're going to make. And that can also work the opposite. If you're selling houses in another market, say for $100,000, right? Or because I'm buying houses in Western Pennsylvania for $20,000, all in $25,000. That's the story for another day. However, if that market, a flip in that market was 80 or 90,000, and you're basing it on the 70% formula, and you use 20% of 80,000, your projection's only 16,000 at best. So at that point, you have to adjust your numbers to say, I want a minimum profit. If you don't want, you might be some people might be very happy with 10, 15,000. I don't know. You have to decide what you're happy with. If you say, I don't want to do a flip for less than $25,000, like us now, if it's under 30, it's not even, we don't still want to do it, but that might work for you. You might say, if I can make 30, that's great for my first flip. So always look at the number too, not just the percentage. And we are done.
Look at that last slide on the
Yeah, can you help me out here? I just, Mr. Technology guy, thanks.